Welcome back to another episode of our Eagle Perspective podcast. I'm Mike Siciliano. I'm joined today by two of my favorite students on campus, Sandy Cameron and Dante Rotchford. Thank you guys both for being here.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Glad to be here.
We're going to talk a little bit about community today and something specifically that happened that you two organized and led, and then kind of move into just a bigger conversation about the SFC community in general. But to start, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners a little bit, who you are, how long you've been at Santa Fe, and maybe some of the things that you've been involved in.
So I'm Dante Rotchford, a senior here at Santa Fe. I've been going here since 7th grade. Been involved in sports since freshman year, playing 3 sports freshman, sophomore year, and then 2 sports last year, and this year just playing football.
I'm Sandy Cameron. I am a senior this year. I've been here since freshman year, and I've been involved in cheer and a lot of the theater arts community, and yeah, I've just loved being a part of all the things Santa Fe has to offer.
You're both being really humble because I've seen you both in a lot of those things. So like you mentioned, yeah, I've been in some of the shows, but like you've been in a lot of the shows. 8
Yeah.
productions.
Okay. There we go.
And
Yeah.
I know you're in the chamber chorale. And
Yeah,
you're on
chamber
the
chorale,
dance troupe.
yeah.
Okay, all right.
A
This
lot
is
of
your
different
shot.
stuff.
Like you don't
Yeah.
have to be humble here.
That's
you know?
me.
Okay.
You'll see me around.
Great. And then Dante, I mean, some would say arguably the hardest hitter on the football team this year. Is that accurate?
I would take that credit.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. There might apologies to a couple other guys who just jumped out of their chairs listening to this who may want to challenge you for that. All right, so a crazy thing happened recently that has led to you being on this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. So why don't we start with you, Dante, about a Friday morning recently.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your car, and what happened?
Sitting in my car early morning, had some time before school, and I noticed the fire under the hood of Clemente's car. Immediately checked anyone that was in the car, and then went to grab the person in front of me and behind me to get them out of the car, get them at like a safe distance. And then everyone started crowding, wanting to see the action.
And just to fill in for some of our listeners who may not know, so Clemente, you're talking about Clemente Mejia, who's one of our custodians and groundskeepers, and has been here for almost 25 years.
Yes, done so much for our school.
Yeah, I mean he's an incredible guy,
Yeah.
right? And always with a smile, and always willing to like kick the soccer ball around with anyone who's nearby. Like he's just a really really great guy. So, so when did you find out it was his truck?
I first found out when it was his truck when he was coming down the hill. Someone informed him that his truck was on fire, and when I saw him with one of our head construction. Construction.
Yeah, one of our facilities directors.
Yeah, one of him, and then and I saw his reaction. It was heartbreaking.
And you saw his reaction, and how did that feel to you to watch that?
It was very hard to watch, to see him ask for nothing for the past 25 years, and to see his car go up in flames. It was really hard to watch.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. So then, Sandy, you are coming by a little bit later. Not that you were coming late.
Yeah, well, it was a great morning because I was actually kind of coming to school on time.
Yeah.
And
like normal is what you're saying.
Yeah, totally.
Obviously, yeah.
And I was driving up the street and abruptly had to turn around because there was all this smoke and flames, and there were police cars and fire trucks, and I didn't know what was on fire. I couldn't see over it.
And just to be clear for our listeners, that's not a normal thing you'd find on the way to school.
Not at all.
Okay.
And so I did as anyone would do. I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't know what's happening. I ended up just like driving around, going up Ida, and then parked in the senior lot, went to class, which Dante's in, and found out it was Clemente's truck. And that just broke my heart because, like, as we know, like, Clemente is such an asset to our school and does so much for our community and is such a bright light. And so, like, we had to kind of think, okay, how can we give back to someone who has given so much to us?
Yeah, and I'll say it's both of you, it's interesting, and this is how it felt for me, watching this, right? We all heard about the fire. I mean, this was like 8:20 on a morning. School starts at 8:30.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally the time where the most possible people are out on the street, right? So everyone's like, rushing to get a view of what's happening. But when we found out it was Clemente Mejia, it's like everyone's countenance shifted from, oh, wow, there's a fire. Have you seen it? To like, oh my gosh, Clemente doesn't have a truck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It sort of changed the tone of it all.
For sure.
So you two are sitting in class, right? And,
Yeah.
And then tell me what happened next.
So it started when I was at my table with I brought up the idea to like my table partners, and Chase Wetzel I think went out to go get water and ended up running into Miss Odin and gave me credit for saying the GoFundMe instead of like taking it. He gave me credit saying
What a
hey
selfless
Dante,
guy.
yeah, exactly. He
Are you
said,
saying Chase Wetzel
Dante.
should be here?
Well, he was the one who introduced the idea, I guess you could say. I was the one who
Okay.
created it, but
Yeah.
he gave Odin the saying that, Dante wanted to start a GoFundMe, and then that's when Sandy was asking, it's like, where's the link? Like, can we donate or something? I was like, oh, it's a great idea. And then I went to go get the link from you and Miss Odin, and then we started that group chat, and you said later the day.
Yeah, and Sandy, so one of the things you didn't say when you introduced yourself in all your humility is that that you're one of the leaders of our service club.
Yeah.
And which seemed like the right fit to house this. And so you came in and we kind of talked through how would we set this up. And it really happened kind of fast.
It happened so
Like-
quickly.
Yeah,
It was
very.
like that, and then it was honestly, it was so quick.
Yeah, so this was like maybe 10 in the morning. We had to do a few things just to make sure that this was all going to work okay. And before we went live with it and kind of looked into his insurance situation and all that, it was clear
Yeah.
that insurance was not going to cover a new
Yeah.
truck for him. So it was probably about 4 o'clock, I think, when we made it go live.
Around there, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
And
was
shared it
like
on
4
social
o'clock.
media.
Yeah. So I told you guys, okay, we're going live.
Yeah,
And then
so
what happened?
Then I reposted and then tagged like SFC ASB and like, our social media like community that we have for like ASB and for just like our Eagles account and everything really helped back us up with promoting this amazing blessing that we could have. And so we had the original goal of $10,000 to reach, and that was like a reach. I remember sitting in your office and being like, that's a reach.
You and I
Like,
thought it was a reach. Dante was like, I think we can.
Nah, I had
think we-
confidence. Yeah, nah.
But you and I were like, that's a big goal.
That's
Like,
a big goal.
Like, it feels weird
Yeah.
asking for more than $10,000.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we knew trucks are expensive.
Yes.
Right? So it felt like an appropriate starting place.
Yeah.
But Dante was proven right.
Yeah, no, I had confidence.
Yeah.
Because
for
you're
sure.
we're watching, like, it goes live, you get it out there. And,
And-
like,
Quick how social media works.
It's
yeah.
quick how it works, and it was amazing to see, like, because we weren't the only ones feeling that way of like wanting to give back. Like every single student, there was alumni, parents, just everyone on social media, including just like looking at like it says you can be like anonymous on the GoFundMe or like people who have donated.
Right.
People in our community, just
Yeah.
so many people wanting to pour into this awesome,
And I
amazing
think what
thing.
was cool too is just to like maybe dispel one myth. It's not like one person came in and dropped 20 grand. Like
No.
I think the biggest gift was $1,000.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Right? So we had $5 gifts,
Several hundred
$1,000
donations.
gifts.
Oh, yeah.
It was
And
over
it just shows-
240
yeah.
donations.
Something like that.
And it really like goes into that big idea that like any amount you can give to causes like that truly does make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we haven't actually talked this all the way through yet. Where were you guys on Friday night? I was at my church Christmas night thing
Oh
at
my
North Coast
gosh.
Calvary Chapel, and we're all like messaging each other, right?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you guys are like, hey, we got to raise it up. Like
Yeah.
we're already at 10,000.
I was celebrating one of my friend's birthdays, Jackson. We were at dinner, and then I was telling them because they knew about it. They knew about the GoFundMe, and then I was keeping. They weren't keeping like track of like how much was going up, but I was
Right.
like, it's up at 15, and then I was like, I got it. I told them to raise it to 20 grand, and we're at 20 grand. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw when you launched it, and then obviously it was completely at ground zero, and I was at a church in Carlsbad because I was crewing for the drama department's recent play, The Trial of Judas Iscariot,
Which
and
was awesome, sidebar.
it was amazing. It was the first time I ever crewed, and so there was a lot going on. I was doing like sound cues, and I was just sitting in the back. There was like some low time, and I was like in the middle of the show. It was like the first hour. Scroll through, we're over 10,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like freaking out in like the back of this like quiet theater. And I was
Dante's somewhere leaning back, like, I told you guys. I
yeah,
told you
literally,
so."
he's like not shocked at all. But yeah, and then
Yeah.
kept checking, and then within 2 hours we were over 15,000. It was insane.
And I mean, even like going to bed that night, it was over 20 grand.
Yeah.
It was like 6 hours. I think he went over like a little
Yeah.
over 20 grand in 6 hours.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
So, and then maybe you can share a little bit with. So we brought Clemente in on Monday, and actually in here, and Mr. Gilbert and myself and Mr. DeFefer, our CFO, and Mr. Pierce, who's the head of our facilities, kind of shared with him the update. But then we brought him to assembly with the students, and I don't know if you guys want to talk a little bit about that moment and what it was like to kind of get to interact with him and see his reaction.
Yeah.
It was amazing seeing the amount of joy that he had, because that was our first time seeing him
know.
once he knew the information.
Yeah, same.
It was crazy.
It was just so beautiful to see, like, such a genuine reaction that everyone, every single person in that gym was like rooting for him and rooting for this, and it was just so beautiful to see our community fully come together over something that was such an unfortunate situation turned into a blessing, all because of Hearts of Service.
With the whole student body cheering.
Yeah, I mean, that's
several times.
Yeah.
And thanks you guys for everything you did for me. You are, it's a big surprise for me. Thanks very much for everything. I love you guys.
I feel like everybody in their life should have a moment where a gym full of people just stand up and cheer for you. But it was pretty neat to see Clemente have that moment.
Oh,
So there's a couple, this is an amazing story, but there's a couple things I want to ask about kind of the bigger picture behind this story. I mean, one, it really is a testament to community, and I'm curious for you as students, what is it about our community that you knew, hey, we could do this?
Well, personally, mine would be the football games and how many parents, students, alumni all show out for regardless of the distance too. We were playing either LCC, Torrey Pines. It doesn't matter where we play. I knew that there would be support, and that's why confidence in that we'd raise to 10,000 and even over. That's where it started with me, at least. It was all the support for the football program, and I knew if they can support the football program, they can support Clemente's car, you know what I mean?
Me too, but kind of with SFC drama and just the theater department and everything, because that's where I know every year we do the spring musical. This is kind of long-winded, but we do the spring musical, but that is I think the most communal thing, I think, being involved as a student at least, that you can do at SFC, because everyone, at least for seniors, everyone does the musical, and that's such a big bonding experience, as well as freshmen all the way through seniors do it, and so many people do it, and it brings together such a big community of love and support for one another. And I think that I've seen such a big outcome with the amount of lives that has been touched by the arts here, that has kind of given me hope in other causes this, and as well as Service Club. I've led a bunch of different service opportunities through my 4 years here, and I had that hope because I've seen outcomes from each project that I've taken leadership in, but obviously this I knew could possibly have an amazing outcome, and it did. So.
And that also is a good point of part of the amazing. The reason why the story is amazing is it was a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
But really, I think the other part of it is it's not really about the dollar figure,
no,
right?
Not
it's
at
about
all.
the coming together and the fact that over the course of 36 hours, 240 people said, "Oh, we got somebody who's hurting. I'm in. Let's help."
And it could have literally been anyone's car.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It could have been
what I was saying.
anyone's car, and because we all saw it and we were also impacted by it. I didn't know until I showed up at my Bible class, and I was like, how are we going to help? And then I found out it was Clemente's car. It could have been anyone's, and we would have been there to help and pick up whoever it was.
Yeah.
Just makes it so much more special. That's Clemente, and just knowing the impact that he's had over our community, definitely more special. But regardless of whose car it was.
So we're talking about this community here that feels unique. And so you said you came in what year? Seventh, and you came freshman year.
Yes.
So did you feel that right away? Is that something that it took time to appreciate?
I would say this amount, like in this type of community that we like saw during this, is a little different than what I saw in 7th grade. I'd say the type of community I saw in 7th grade had more to do with the teachers and how that's why I think one thing great about SFC is these like the connection you can have and the deep relationship you can have with the teachers, considering that it's like one smaller school and two, that there's smaller classrooms. So that's more the community I felt, but but I didn't feel like the like this to this like amount, you know what I mean?
Yeah. For me, I knew like Santa Fe was my school like the first time I walked on campus. Like I could feel like physically like feel the community, just like being able to walk around. Yeah. And then I remember my first day just feeling so welcomed, and ever since freshman year I feel like that has just grown stronger and stronger. And then now being seniors, I think all of us have just kind of like come to the conclusion of like, this is our final year. Like this is the time to like be the community that we have watched seniors and past. Like I remember my freshman year, all of our seniors were just so incredible and, you know, role models to look up to. And they created that community for the rest of the underclassmen. Like every year we're always like reminded, like, we have to be those leaders for the ones below us. And so I think all of us have come to that conclusion and wanted to build that community, and this was
like
one
seniors
way.
lead the way, like lead the school,
Exactly.
like what Hannah says.
Yeah.
When seniors go, the school goes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be so happy that you've covered him.
Shout out Hannah.
Shout out.
Well, you have certainly led, and I know a lot of students were a part of it, but you two really got this going, and it is an example. It's an inspiring example for the whole community. It's created a lot of excitement. So I just want to say thank you to both of you for being here today, but also just for thinking proactively about how to model that for all of us. So we're really grateful for you both.
Least we could do.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, this has been another awesome episode of our Eagle Perspective podcast. If this is your first time, you can catch other episodes of our podcast on Spotify or Apple Music or other places where podcasts are available, or our video podcasts on YouTube. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks for joining us.